With all of the scraping you have done on your reeds, it's probably time to sharpen your knife.
Having a sharp knife is one of the most important details in making a quality reed. Tess, how often do you sharpen your knife?
Typically at least one time per reed making session. Although when the knife seems dull and is not removing cane cleanly from the reed, that's my cue that it's time to sharpen my knife.
Reed makers use all sorts of sharpening equipment. Here we will be using a ceramic stone and a folding steel rod.
We'll be using what is called the nickel-dime method, so you will also need a nickel and a dime. This method is what we use for a double hollow ground knife.
We will show you how to sharpen a knife for right-handed reed makers. Left-handed reed makers should hold the knife in their left hand and follow the same steps that we outline here. Let's get started.
The sharpening stone needs lubrication. Since we are using a ceramic stone, we will use water. Wet the entire stone and place the dime at the end of the stone closest to you. Hold the knife in your right hand with the blade facing away from you and rest the back of the knife on the dime. This gives the knife a slight angle to the stone.
Draw the knife down the stone and back around 20 to 30 times. As you do so, be sure that all of the knife blade comes into contact with your stone and apply equal pressure down from both of your hands. We want all portions of the knife blade to be very sharp.
Next, go through this exact same process using the nickel instead of the dime. By using the nickel, the knife angle to the stone is increased and will begin to form a burr on your knife.
The burr of a knife is a slight hook at the end of the blade that actually picks up the cane as you scrape the surface of the reed.
Now, place the dime at the opposite end of the sharpening stone and hold the knife in your right hand, blade facing you, with the back of the knife resting on the dime. Draw the knife across the length of the stone 20 to 30 times, ensuring that all portions of the blade come into contact with the stone.
Now for our final pass down the stone, place the nickel at the end closest to you. Hold the knife in your right hand with the blade facing away from you and the back of the knife resting on the nickel. Take one forward pass along the stone.
Now that the knife is sharp, it is time to really set the burr. Take your folding steel rod and open it so that the rods align with the point of the arrows and place the bottom of the rods on a flat surface.
Hold the knife in your right hand, place the blade on the right arm of the steel. Notice that the part of the blade closest to the handle is our starting point. Keeping the blade at the 12 o'clock position, draw the blade of the knife down and toward you one time. As you are drawing down, also apply pressure inward toward the rod.
Now, place the blade on the left arm of the folding steel at a 12 o'clock position and draw the blade down and toward you 5 times.
Our last pass will be one time down the right arm of the steel at 12 o'clock. If you want a different position of the burr, you could angle slightly to 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Left-handed reed makers should follow this process, but start and end on the left side.
During your reed making process, if your knife gets slightly dull, you can sharpen it with just the rods. Once it starts getting more dull, you should go through the whole process again, with the stone followed by the rods.
Your burr should now be set. Let's test our knife for sharpness. The knife should remove a thin portion of your thumbnail when drawing the blade across with no downward pressure. Only the weight of the blade is resting on the nail. This is one sharp knife.
Now that's something to crow about.